Since time began, man has always been fascinated with whether there is life after death, and they tend to draw this curiosity into their art, into their rituals, into their beliefs, and into their social culture. They've always believed that there is more to life than just what we see. Whether it is a fear of death that somehow provide this morbid curiosity, we do not know. But one thing we can say is that man have always feared, and have a morbid thoughts and curiosity where death is concerned. Surely there is more to life than the misery, poverty, pain, and struggles of this earth. And thus, you can, if you look at any artwork, you can see where they've always believed that somehow the soul survives the body. This is an Eastern philosophy which has developed into what we now call the postmodernist age. Whether this thinking actually is what the Hebrews sort of taught, we do not really know. We have to look at the biblical text closely to see whether the Bible teaches that the soul survives death. We look at the Old Testament, and you do not see any evidence whatsoever, apart from maybe Elijah, I think, and Elisha and Moses, who were seen with Christ. They were translated, showing the potential what would happen during the resurrection of the believers. So it's not that immediately everybody gets translated, everybody goes to heaven, but that is what now many evangelical Christians are now teaching. And it's moved into dangerous grounds because many Christians now, who some who probably had car accidents, who've gone through illnesses, and they've been in hospital, and the doctors or surgeons pronounce them dead. And then suddenly they share with you a moving and emotional story that they've died, and yet they've watched their souls rising up, leaving their bodies behind. And they don't only see Jesus, but they see their dead relatives. And their dead relatives tell them, it's not your time. Go back, go back. It's not your time. Heaven is full of white clouds and white light. Beautiful. You think to yourself, I don't want to come back to this miserable earth. And these stories are shared all round the world. People saying they've had out of body experiences, and they see the beautiful face of the Messiah, and they see their friends and relatives. And their friends and relatives tell them, it's not your time. It's not your time. Look, I've been in hospital in 2012 three times. It was a horrible year for me. And under deep anesthetic, okay, because the people in the hospital I was getting on with was concerned because I got a sensitive body. I was out of it for a very long time after the surgery. I've had no dreams. I've had nothing. Right, this is during deep anesthetic that the brain shuts down and relaxes. I have more chance of dreaming at night than when I was under deep anesthetic. I had no thoughts whatsoever. I was just out of it. If I'd have died at that time, I wouldn't have known because my soul didn't go anywhere. I didn't even dream, which is interesting because every single night I dream, I have a high dream count. Every night I dream. Yet when I was in hospital under anesthetic, deep anesthetic, I didn't dream once. My thoughts didn't go out elsewhere. Okay. However, many Christians would say, well, that's you. That's you. I died and I saw my grandfather. I saw my aunt in heaven. And they were making nice cookies and frying an egg. They said, come and eat with us. But they said, look, eat the eggs and the cookie, but come back down because it's not your time yet. So they had beautiful 2 minute interaction, and then they say it's not your time, go back in your body. And these stories are shared all over the world. But guess what? It's not just Christians who are having these out of body experiences. Atheists, you name it, everybody, unbelievers are having this out of body experience, and they go into the light. They go into the light. You think, well, where is the judgment that God says the world is supposed to have? Where is Christ coming back? And all eyes shall see him, all eyes who pierced him shall see him. This does not make sense. The world is supposed to be called to judgment. There's supposed to be one resurrection, and then another one, which is the resurrection of the unbelievers, who then goes to the everlasting lakes. Nowhere did the Bible teaches that everybody goes straight to heaven. Yet Christians are using Paul's text, in order to build a theology that somehow when you die, you straight away you go to heaven. Some call it the rapture, yet others believe there's only one single rapture, when you go through tribulation and pain, and then suddenly, whee, you disappear right in front of your friends. So these are, and I must admit, I'm a humble man. I must admit, these are confusing for me. These are confusing because if everybody dies and go to heaven, why bother live a good life? Why do we fight over religion? Why? It doesn't make sense. If everybody dies and go to heaven, what does it matter if you believe in Muhammad or Jesus or Hinduism or Sikhism or Buddhism? It makes no difference. All these religious wars around the world, it makes no difference because we all die and go to heaven anyway. Something doesn't add up. I wonder if we're being deceived. I wonder, just like we got UFOs and unidentifying flying objects, strange things in the skies. I wonder if somehow the devil is sending a powerful delusions and we are falling for it. Because really, we're living in a delusional age now. We don't know whether we're male or female, up or down, black or white. We don't even know whether we're coming or going. So it's ripe now. It's ripe to play on people's vulnerability and says, you're under surgery, then you claim your soul has left your body and you're looking down at yourself. People are going to believe it. We're living in a vulnerable age where people now are compromising Christianity. So I want to even compromise it even further and now argue, well, we can now absorb spiritualism into Christianity because Christianity makes no sense anymore. People just want to make money. They want to get paid, the tithing, the offering, and not offend anybody. So if you don't want to offend anybody, then you might as well attract another kind of gospel into the church. You might as well, because you're not preaching Christ anyway. You don't want to offend your punters. You don't want to offend Rome. So you want to survive in secret getting paid, so you must well compromise the gospel in other areas. And says, well, something, this is where the New World Order is now moving into the church. Why? Because everybody has one thing in common. When we die, we all want to go to heaven. We all want to fly like Superman. Whee! No judgment whatsoever, nothing. No judgment. Not standing in front of God for all the sins we've done. It's almost like saying there's no sin. The Bible said the soul that sinneth, it shall die. That sounds like judgment. The soul that sinneth. So if we all die because we've done wrong, because we're born in sin, where's the punishment? No, so death means compensation. Death means that somehow we get rewarded. It doesn't make sense. The soul that sinneth, it shall die, meaning that there's a conditional mortality. It does not make sense. You cannot say, well, I'm going to burgle somebody's house, but I'm going to get compensated for it. I'm going to get rewarded. And that's what's being sold. Something does not make sense. Then they say, oh, they use Paul in the Bible. Paul in the text, when Paul says, I know a man who I saw in the seventh heavens. Seventh heavens. I don't know how many heavens are there, but in the seventh heavens. And people don't bother want to look at the Greek. right, to see what does it really mean. Vision, dream, or soul incarnated. Nobody wants to look at the Greek. Why? To see what the word means, because it will attack their fantasies. People scared of death. They don't like the idea that when they go into the ground, they stay there until the resurrection. Nobody wants to believe it. So they find a story and they, Molly cuddle it and says, well, when I die, I go straight to heaven to be with Jesus. Because let me give you an example. When Paul says, what should I do? Should I stay here or should I die and go with Christ? And they take it literally. They take it literally that all he means he goes to Christ straight away. Straight away when he dies, not realizing he's maybe speaking of a future promise. When Jesus said to the thief on the cross, today, surely, today, comma, you shall be with me in paradise. They think, oh yes, the thief went to the heaven straight away. This is dangerous biblical misquoting. It's dangerous. That's how cults operate. They quote out the Bible, right? These people don't even know how to intellectually think and break things down. They quote from the Bible, misquote, and which is why you got so many thousands different denominations all around the world. Everybody takes a text out of the Bible and says, oh, that's it. I'm going to start my own denomination because somebody else don't agree with me. Now you got Baptists, you got Pentecostal, Seventh Adventists, New Testament, Church of God in Christ. You got so many Jehovah's Witnesses, all because of one Charlie Russell taking one text blood transfusion, and now we start a whole cult. But I'm sidetracking. Okay, so what's interesting is that the Seventh Adventist and Jehovah's Witness, I'm not sure any other denomination, they don't believe in the immortality of the souls. They don't believe in it, yet Christians who are supposed to be following a Jewish and Hebrew faith, somehow they've turned the New Testament into spiritualism. They've turned the New Testament into an out-of-body experience, into a New Age theology. That when you die, you go straight to be with Jesus. Wow. If that is true, that would be beautiful, that you don't stay in the ground. But what they do as well, they're misquoting that my body shall not see corruption. My body that shall not. The people are so fear of death that they misquote the Bible. Right? Let me give an example. Right? When Christ died on the cross and the psalm says his body shall not see corruption, what does that mean? It means eternal corruption. He would raise from the dead, right? He didn't see eternal corruption. My body shall not see corruption, meaning everlasting judgment. But everybody's having out-of-body experience. The thieves, the crooks, you name it. The vagabonds, the atheists, they're all having out-of-body experience. And you can't challenge them. You can't, because you're not using biblical principles, because you yourself are claiming you're having an out-of-body experience. When I was in hospital, what time is it? Oh, 13 minutes, right? When I was in hospital, I was out of it. No dream whatsoever. And I usually dream every night, which means my brain is active at night. But when I was on anesthetic, my brain was inactive. I didn't dream at all. I didn't go suspending into the air. No doubt a lot of people start, posting text from here. I don't mind. I'll do a video on it, because I know it does not make sense. You cannot have an out-of-body experience similar to New Age, similar to spiritualism, similar to paganism, and then say that you believe in the last day judgment, where Christ will raise people from the dead. Why bother? Why bother? Because you already rose up. Why raise a ugly body when your spirit's already in the heavens? It does not make sense. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please do share it. Thank you.